Frontline with Courtney Kenny, and I'm Tom Parisi, and today we got a great set of guests. It's episode 18 of the Frontline podcast. I'm Tom Parisi with Courtney Kenny as always, and today we got a pretty special guest joining us, former Brampton and North Bay Battalion, and a few other things along the way, Matt Santos. Matt, we're happy to have you along on the front line.
I'm happy to be here too.
All right, let's kick things off. Man, you had some fun times, and I it's a shame I just missed you when you left North Bay. I just got there, but talk about some of those favorite times you had along the way.
Well, it was awesome for me, even moving from Brampton to North Bay, as the following was a diehard one in Brampton, but not as big, clearly. And it was a move for me as a maturity move too, because even when in Brampton, I was living at home and everything with the family, so I wasn't really away. But when we moved up to North Bay, it was more me, Kyle Wood, moving into a billet together and kind of growing on our own in a sense too. But on the ice, I have nothing but the best words to say for North Bay. The fans were unbelievable. And the memories I have there are going to be life-standing for sure.
Correct me if I'm wrong on this, but I believe you were undrafted into the OHL. So you sign on with the battalion, and then by your last year, you're putting up 69 points in 64 games. Just take us through that journey in the OHL.
Yeah, even as a minor hockey player, I wasn't really the flashiest player or the skilled. I was considered, I guess, a late bloomer. So even after my midget year, I wasn't really reached out to too much by teams and other things like that. So what my dad did was reached out to teams local at the time, close to me at home in Toronto, and just see if they could get me on even just a roster as a fill-in. So it was Mississauga, Brampton, and Oshawa. And the only team that really gave a positive response, was Brampton. One of their prospects wasn't able to come, so they needed a filler, and just went to camp, played the hockey I know how to play, and they seemed to like it and gave me a chance.
What's that got to feel like, though? You're walking in as a filler and obviously turning the heads. That's got to be pretty exciting.
It was definitely really cool. Like, I knew some of the guys there. Like, I played against Nick Paul and Brandon Robinson at the time. So, and a couple of the prospects as well. But it was awesome. It was a cool experience. It was nothing I've been through before. And then to find out like midway through camp that there's a closer eye on me, I was like, oh wow, like there's a real chance I can make this team too.
So after your OHL playing career, you go on to the Toledo Walleye of the ECHL. What was that like playing pro for a season?
It was really cool. Toledo is a great city. They got another diehard fan base there for sure. Every game is almost basically sold out. So it was awesome to play in front of that kind of crowd, that kind of energy always every game. And then it was also my first step into pro hockey, which was a pretty cool experience as well.
A lot of people don't even like blink an eye at the ECHL, but there's some good hockey to be played there. And I mean, talk about some of those teammates you had. Some guys who played a lot in the AHL too. Cal Heater, the goalie, and a few other great players. But like, tell me about the league. We don't know too much about the ECHL.
Yeah, it's a league that doesn't get as much recognition as I think it should. Like, obviously you hear about the AHL, the farm teams, but now as the game is developing even more, these farm teams and that have affiliations with National Hockey League teams also have affiliations in the East Coast as well. So I was playing with like NHL signed guys like Jake Patterson, the goalie, Zach Nastasiak. All these are great players. They're coming out of the OHL too. And then you got guys like AJ Jenks, who had won I think it was the gold for the World Juniors against Canada when he was playing on the States. Like, you're playing with a wide variety of players that aren't necessarily like looked upon, but are definitely very high caliber in hockey sense.
And I mean, you were on a top place team too that season. So that must have been just a lot of fun.
It was definitely fun. It was a very tight-knit group for sure. Like, sure, guys go up and down, but for the most part, the core group was there. And even like guys like Jacob McDonald, he's playing now with Colorado. He started in Toledo, and then halfway through the year, he was called up. And then I think even going on to the next year, he ended up making the AHL All-Star game as well. And then clearly from there, he's done well, and now he's in Colorado as well.
We had Justin Brazo on a while ago talking about the ECHL a little bit. And I'm sure we'll be talking to him again soon. But what is the travel kind of like? We asked him what it was like for a team out in Newfoundland, where you're kind of out on your own and everything. What's the travel like for a team in Toledo?
It's luckily, like, Fort Wayne wasn't too far from us. Like, Kalamazoo wasn't too far. Like, those are like a couple hour road trips. But then you got like the Atlantas, and then you're sitting on a bus for, I don't know, 15 hours. It feels like it's a sleeper bus, obviously, but we had a lot of guys too, so we had to fill some spots, some couch spots and stuff like that. But you get used to it. The older guys definitely show you the ropes in that sense too. They're like, okay, like, we're going to be heading to bed now, so you guys can kind of figure it out from now and stuff like that. But it's pretty cool. And those bus trips too, with the way they're laid out, you definitely share a lot of time together and grow closer as a team for sure. It like kind of forces you to get to know one another.
I imagine it was also a very good time going all the way to Anchorage, Alaska.
You know what? I actually really enjoyed that trip.
Tell us about it.
Granted, it was really deep into winter. So the team actually ended up getting everybody a little container of vitamin D pills.
No kidding.
Yeah, because you wouldn't get as much sun as you normally would anywhere else. And it was actually funny. The one thing I really remember was the one day before the game, we woke up for pregame skate. It was dark. We went in, had our pregame skate and everything. And then as we're coming out, the sun is starting to set. And this was pregame skate. I was like, oh, okay. I guess we won't be seeing the sun today. But yeah, those are, it was cool. It gave me a chance to travel around the States and stuff too. So it was a very awesome experience playing there.
Did you have a favorite stop
in the East Coast?
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't mind Indy's rink. It was actually kind of cool. It was right next to like a racetrack too.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it was a pretty cool experience. And their rink was really nice too. Like, did a nice setup. Kind of like a Guelph feel to it.
On the flip side of that, then, did you have a place that you're like, I'm pretty happy to never play there ever again?
In the coast?
Yeah.
I didn't like Wheeling, to be honest. And we played there quite a bit too. It just had those type of boards too. Like, I'm a pretty physical player usually in my style of play. So I'd be hitting against the boards all the time, and they just felt like I was just hitting concrete all the time. And it was darker and stuff like that. It was just not the rink for me.
I've always wondered, do more physical players, like when you go into a rink and you know you're going to hit some guy, do you go and maybe test the boards in pregame or morning skate, whatever it is, test the board, see how it's going to feel?
Part of my ritual, actually, when I was on the ice, like, I had a little bit of not a superstition, but what I would do in warm up, I would just, like, every so often just go, like, not full speed, but decent speed right into the board and just see how they give, see how they feel. Because, like, our rink in North Bay, unbelievable. Like, the glass gave, the boards felt like nice, really good. But then I'd go into like Peterborough, and it literally felt like they had like reinforced concrete in the back of it.
Did you think twice maybe about hitting a guy in Peterborough then?
Well, if that's probably my one rink that I was not. That's my lowest rank in the OHL, I think.
Really?
A lot of guys have said that.
it's the way the boards are shaped. They have it's more of a rink for lacrosse, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because the corners are so shallowed out, and it's like you can play your own game of hockey below the goal line.
Peterborough and Sudbury always top the ranks of whenever we ask players their least favorite rinks in the OHL. Those are the two.
I get the Sudbury one just because the rivalry, but I didn't mind playing there. I know the Wolf and their horn and stuff,
Yeah.
but I always seemed to play a good game there, and the rivalry was always nice. So it wasn't one I didn't like going to.
Well, and I mean that first year in North Bay, you guys clinched the division there, right? So I mean, good memories right there.
Exactly.
Doesn't get much better than that. So I kind of want to ask about your U Sports career a little bit, playing for the Ryerson Rams, or as we like to call them, the Ryerson Battalion, because there's you, Zach Shankar, Garrett Forrest, who was a pick, Steve Harland. If I'm missing anyone, forgive me, but what's that kind of like being around so many familiar faces in your U Sports career?
It's really cool too. Like from the position you see them in junior to now too, like guys have evolved their game in a sense. Like a guy that might not have been taking as many chances there are doing it here, but it's also like we've come from a very similar system, so we all know more or less where we're going to be, and getting the familiar face too is pretty cool. You gel pretty quick when you come in, so it was awesome seeing the multiple guys that were here from North Bay.
You see a lot of guys, their production dips in U Sports, but not you. 36 points in 28 games last season. What's the story?
I don't know, actually. It was I was coming back from the East Coast, so I had to sit out that 1 year, unfortunately, but it gave me a chance to see how the top players on our team played and how they did on the ice, and see the game, I guess, in a sense. But it also, I think the coaches, staff just instilled the confidence in me too, to go out there and just do what I know I can do, and just give me the reins to, even if I make a mistake here or there, it's not going to be sort of end of the world kind of thing.
So coming from the Coast League and then deciding to go the U Sports route, why'd you what was attractive to you about Ryerson?
Actually, my best friend from home was playing there, so that was one thing. And then I know there was a major turnover the year I ended up coming, but I didn't know what players were staying or not. So like Jamie Lewis was there. There was like Faberici, Josh Sturck, Mitch Theoret. There was a bunch of guys like I knew were quality hockey players, and that just seemed like a team I wanted to be a part of as well. And also when I took the visit to Ryerson and saw the campus and the facilities, I was like, how can I say no to playing in one of the most historic rinks of all time? And the facilities, the way they've redone it there is incredible. So it was kind of like a no-brainer going back there.
Well, my sister used to live just down the street from it. And every time I go visit her, I just stop and look.
Yeah.
Because you can't help it. I mean, what's it like playing at Maple Leaf Gardens?
It's so awesome. You know the history there, the players that have played there. They've even done a really good job of like having commemorative pieces of like events that have gone in through there and just have them on the walls. You see this, there's like a row of seats still in there. It's really cool. It's like something like a hockey player is like a young hockey player's dream would be to play somewhere in that kind of facility.
I've never actually been in Maple Leaf Gardens, unfortunately, but the first time I was there, it was they were kind of doing the renovations, and it was just sad because here I am. I have all these expectations of Maple Leaf Gardens. You just see cranes and broken glass and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, well, that was fun, but I'm just jealous of you guys. Cause like, yeah, the Lakers get to play at Memorial Gardens, but the Rams get to play at Maple Leaf Gardens. So
yeah, a little bit of a switch up there.
Yeah, no doubt. What's it like coming back to North Bay to play some U Sports here though?
I've only got to play one game so far there, but it's awesome. I think Stan actually stuck around the one day and watched the game too. My billets came. It was just awesome seeing all the people that I've seen and like kind of grown up with there and matured with, and then just like reliving some memories, like seeing some spots that like, oh, we used to always warm up here and stuff like that. It was just, it's nice. It's nice to go through those memories too.
You don't happen to ever run into any Maple Leafs alumni at Maple Leaf Garden, do you?
No, I don't think they come through as much anymore, to be honest, because I think it's more Mattamy and Ryerson now that have taken over. I think even like the Alumni Association, I think they've moved now towards the Ford Excellence Performance Center or whatever it's called there now. Unfortunately, that'd be pretty cool though.
That would be.
Talk about a learning experience.
Yeah, honestly.
Well, you guys ever get anybody like for practice or any guest coaches or anything like that?
You know what? The one guest coach we've had was, you wouldn't really guess who it would be, but it was Jerry D.
You got to explain.
So Jerry D actually used to coach our head coach.
Okay.
No kidding.
I don't remember what the interaction was, but it was something on Twitter. And our coach like had replied to him and he was like, yeah, I'll come in and run a practice for sure. So he's coming, and we're all expecting like a nice easy practice, like slight drills. He has us running through the hardest practice we've had all year. and it's Jerry D, Mr. D. We thought it was gonna be all fun and jokes and some games here and there. Nope. Regroup drills, back checking drills. It definitely threw us for a loop, but it was pretty cool to
Might
say
as well
that
have kept you for a bag skate. Holy
yeah, I wasn't surprised he didn't put us on the line, but that was cool for sure.
That is pretty cool.
How tough is it to kind of juggle the university life and the sports life?
It is kind of hard, but the way I don't know how the other schools are, but Ryerson, they have a good academic advisor as well. So like you have multiple things you have to input online for your grades and stuff like that too, to make sure that you're keeping up. And even on top of that, they have very good academic resources too to help you through. And then also like the older guys on the team too. They were like, as soon as anybody got there, they're like, don't hesitate to ask questions. We're here to help. We've been through the same situation you are. And like, they understand a lot of us are coming from either, well, I don't know anymore, but back in my day, but a lot of guys weren't taking university courses after high school. So it's a 4-year hiatus from schooling. But
So
yeah,
what are you taking now?
I'm in geographic analysis, kind of like urban development, urban planning. Yeah.
How'd you find a love of that?
It's just, I don't really know how I stumbled on it, but it's pretty cool. It deals with a lot of like data of people too. So it's an interesting course for sure.
I want to ask about the gorgeous painting you have up over your shoulder. The overage painting that Jack Lockhart does for the team. I think your class was the first class to get them. Although I heard a bit of a story that Jake Smith got his, and then you had to go over and basically ask for one yourself.
I actually paid for this one.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I liked Jake so much because I think Jack really took a liking to how Smitty was.
Yeah.
So he was presented the painting at the rink. But so I went over after and I was like, is there any chance you can get and do one for me? Because I really enjoyed it. So that's how it is. And it's a commemorative piece. Now it hangs above my bed, but it's awesome.
The cool part is you can now watch the podcast on YouTube so people can see it.
Oh, there you go. Awesome. Yeah. Should I get a zoom in, a close up?
Hey, if you want.
He actually has. I went over to his house last year, and the basement of his house is his little art gallery that he has. Yeah. And he took me through and went through each piece with me and everything. And he still has all the prints of every one of yours. Like every battalion one he's ever done, he has a print there. So it's cool to see. And I definitely I shouldn't ever go back because I'll spend serious money. That's the problem.
Yeah, just on the prints. It was awesome. He even when I went over there to ask him to do one for me, he had kind of did me the little run through of his gallery down there. It was pretty cool.
It's impressive.
The kind of paintings he's done.
Yeah.
I don't remember exactly the one, but there was like a golf hole, I think.
Okay. I don't recall that one.
Or it was like a lake scene, but it was unbelievable. I was like, wow, this is serious, impressive stuff here too.
he has a 3D one that you have to wear 3D glasses to look at. It's
Really?
crazy. Yeah, and it actually like does stick out, and it's like I was there to do an interview with him, and I was there for about 2 hours, and an hour and a half of that was just showing me around the gallery. So
Well, you got to think too. He's painting that, so he
yeah,
painted a 3D painting for you to see through glasses. Like, how
yeah,
impressive is that?
yeah,
I can't even get through like a stick man or just draw like a cube.
Yeah, without it being almost round.
I need normal
yeah.
glasses to do that. Jesus.
Well, I think it's impressive because it's him, and then his wife down in the basement as well also has like a stained glass like little studio. She
Yeah.
does stuff with stained glass. It's just crazy when you're in the place. It's a must see if you've ever if you're ever in the area. You kind of have to go to see Jack Lockhart's little gallery. It's crazy. And he was showing me his books. He has books of I guess him and Bobby Orr are pretty good friends. So he
That's
has
what I've heard too.
yeah, so he goes to the Bobby Orr golf tournaments every year, and he just showed me the books, and he's like, he's not like bragging. He's just, hey, here's me and Bobby Orr and all this stuff, and
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my god, this man is something else. But I like all the paintings he's done of you guys have been pretty fantastic so far.
Yeah, I haven't. I've only seen mine and Smitty's. I haven't really seen too many of the overages of the next years.
Well, I mean, you guys started a trend, so it's you kind of have a lasting impact on the battalion in that sense.
Yeah, I guess so. It's kind of cool. The overagers can pay homage.
Yeah. No, it's funny because I saw one the battalion posted this last year's group of overagers because they didn't get the presentation. And Ben Thompson and Barclay Goodrow commented on it saying, well, where's ours?
Yeah, they're a little ahead of the times there before
Yeah.
the paintings came along.
Yeah, for sure. So that we kind of touched on it briefly a little bit, but that move from Brampton to North Bay, what was that like? We've talked to some of the guys like Nick Paul and Jake Smith about it, but from your perspective, what was that like aside from moving from home type of thing? How tough is that when that you're playing for a team and they're moving?
It was definitely an experience that I wasn't really prepared for or thought of, but it was one I think a lot of us were going to appreciate, kind of in a sense, because we were going from a rink where there was a 40% crowd capacity, and then we're going to a city where we're almost selling out a practice prior to even arriving in the city. So I think that one practice of us going up there definitely opened the eyes for a lot of players too, seeing that the kind of support we're going to have up there. And although it's going to be a change in billets and cities, it was going to be a change probably for the better of the organization and the team as well.
Now, Tom kind of mentioned it a little bit. It was year 4 of the team was when Tom moved from Timmins and started covering the team. But so he kind of missed out on the peak like playoff runs, and he's only heard from us, myself, Bob Coles or Matt Sucrum, whoever's telling him, third hand that the place was rocking. As a player, what was it like to be on the ice when in Memorial Gardens?
It was awesome. And like, I classified myself as a physical player at the time too. So even some of the big hits I had, you could hear the crowd just get into it, like nice scream in the middle of there. Even like you got the middle of the anthem, right when they say True North, and you got a bunch of people in the crowd that yell out the North a little louder with the anthem singer. It was unbelievable, and the place always rocked. Come playoff time, there wasn't a quiet seat in the house. And I heard though the podcast with Paulie, and he said rumor has it that the TVs were shaking in some of the boxes, and I wouldn't doubt it because that place would rock in the playoffs.
Yeah, no, it was crazy. I remember I was volunteering with Coach Go, so I always tried to get like one game in the playoffs where I didn't have to volunteer. I was there as a fan. And I remember sitting in the stands and it felt like the seats were shaking. It was crazy.
Yeah, it was definitely a great city to play hockey for. And they loved when our runs going on those deep runs, they loved every aspect of the game too. It doesn't matter if we're scoring goals or blocking shots or anything. Like even like the smallest things they'd get up for. So
yeah,
it's very reassuring for a player as well.
So
How fun? Go ahead, Courtney.
I was just gonna on that side of things. We asked Paulie and we asked Smitty this. You're down 3-1 to Niagara, and Alex Henriksen makes that comment after Game 5 that no, we're coming back for Game 7. What's that kind of like in the locker room? Is that maybe you shouldn't have said that, or no, we're gonna win this?
No, I think we all had that confidence of what kind of team we had going into the playoffs. Yeah, we put ourselves in a spot, but I think McLeod before, what was that? We were down. So Game 5, before Game 5, I think McLeod, before the coaches came in for the speech, gave us some magical speech that just lit a fire in all of us, I feel. And we just went out there and played the game we knew we could play, and just started the roll there.
Go ahead, Tom. Sorry.
How fun was it to play with Mike Amadio?
Oh, me and Amo we were all like best friends. There was a group of us. It was me, Smitty, Kyle Wood, and Amo that would just always be together after the games and after the rinks and everything. So like we had a really good bond. And honestly, playing with Amadio was awesome. I couldn't have asked for a better centerman that year. And we just had the chemistry, I feel. Like he had the magic hands, the finishing touch, and I was just kind of like a little bulldog that would go in, get the puck, try to find him or whoever else was open. And it was just the chemistry that was clicking. And
so he doesn't score 50 without you?
Oh no, I think he scores maybe more without me. I might have brought him down, if anything.
Don't sell yourself short. Don't sell yourself short. 69 points in 64 games is still pretty impressive. 11-11 in those playoffs as well. So what was that kind of like? You know, the previous 2 years you guys had gone on these deep runs. The second year you guys were out in the second round, unfortunately to the Barrie Colts, but just wrapping up your OHL career that way.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. We always had a great rivalry with Barrie. We played them 6 times a year, every year. And then on top of that, we always seemed to have them in the playoffs. So we built that kind of rivalry, and honestly, that was actually probably one of my favorite rinks to play in just because of the rivalry. Like we knew going there that they were going to be hating our guts, and that was kind of like a fire for us too. Just getting there, like even that altercation that happened, like that's just how you know the rivalry is just boiled over. Just anything Battalion was terrible to them, and we loved every second of it too.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy.
A few episodes ago, we were talking with Coach Ryan Houlihan about just how some of the players, you always remember your days in juniors and you try and maybe keep a little bit of something. Did you ever get to keep any Battalion stuff?
Actually, I have my jersey. Luckily, it's actually it's hung up right here. I have like a little rack of a bunch of jerseys I've accumulated. But yeah, and then obviously the painting too, which is pretty cool. I have all my first goal pucks and like the stuff like that. You got to hold on to tracksuits, jackets. Like even if I'm not going to wear them, I'll probably store them somewhere and just hold on to them. Just for one day down the road, I can pull them out, maybe tell my kids about the time it was and the memories I've made and the people I've met and stuff like that too.
Do you remember your first OHL goal?
I actually do.
What happened?
It was like a harmless breakout. I think we were down like 5-2 to Oshawa in Oshawa. And I was on a line at the time. I think it was me, Amadio, and Blake Clark. At the end of it was like third period, probably 5 minutes left. It was just a cross ice pass from blue line to blue line from Blake Clark. I just stepped over the blue line and took a slap shot far side. And I beat Daniel Altschuler clean from the blue line with no traffic. I was like, of all my first goals, this one is just anticlimactic, but I'll take it and get the first one out of the way.
It sounds like he cranked it from the blue line top blocker side. And
oh yeah, clean, beat him clean. No chance on that one.
Goalie.
Yeah.
Top chatter. There we go. It's kind of like one of those stories where it was just like, oh, it was kind of anticlimactic. That's what you have to spice it up. Be like, I also fought a bear. He was on my back, and all this stuff.
Yeah. My stick was on fire. Puck went through the net.
Yeah, there you go. So back to that Barrie rivalry though. So your first two playoff runs in North Bay, you're kind of a role player on the bottom six and everything. And you say you're a bit more of a physical player, and of course you were, but I mean, like in that series where everything was so chippy, especially when they got like the Brandon Lemieux and all that coming at you. What's that like when you're kind of in that role of you got to go throw your body around?
I think it takes a certain type of player, definitely. Like I was one that enjoyed hitting the other team, maybe knocking them down. Just I felt like it created ice for not only me but other players as well. So you need to have those type of players on your team that are willing to go in there, hit somebody hard, even if the puck had just gone like just seconds away. You got to finish it and let them know that you're going to be there all game. And and sometimes you're teetering a line, right? You don't want to give up the penalty that loses the game, but you also want to kind of aggravate the other team and get them to do something that they don't want to do, and then maybe put your team up on a power play as well.
So how satisfying is that then when you finish the series and knock them out?
It's always a good experience beating Barrie. It didn't matter if it was a game in the season or if it was a series game. It was always super satisfying winning in that arena.
So how did you prepare yourself maybe physically and mentally to play such a physical game each and every night? Because that takes a toll on you. Did you do anything special?
I wouldn't say I did anything special, but it was just something I actually really enjoy doing. I know like a lot of guys that it's the points, the assists, and those were good for me too. They got me excited as well. But whenever I threw like a big hit and like I just caught somebody clean, no dirty play, just open ice. He just had his head down. It was a great feeling for me because it was like something that took the energy out of the other team and just injected it into my team. So it was something I kind of enjoyed doing for sure.
It's kind of along the lines of we had Daniel Walker on a while ago, and he said that he'd rather have a fight than a goal or assist any game. Even though guys are all about points, but
it's very similar, except with a fight for me, it's like then I gotta go sit in the box for 5 minutes. I'd rather be out there hitting more guys.
Yeah, I never saw any of your games, but did you ever get into a fight?
I had probably 8 fights in my OHL career. Yeah.
How'd they go?
Usually pretty even. I wasn't like a big swinging fighter, but I fought like Matt Finn. Definitely a lot of like guys coming up to me after a hit on another player, kind of standing up for their guy, and then you kind of answer the bell because in that situation you'd probably do the exact same thing. So you give it to them, and yeah, I handle my own. I don't think I really got thrown around too much, and I don't think I was really throwing too many guys around either.
Speaking of fights, I don't know if you guys knew this, but in the finals against Guelph, and just speaking of Memorial Gardens, how crazy it was that game though where you guys lost like 11-1 or whatever. But there was 2 Battalion fans that got kicked out because they got into a fight in the stands
with each other.
Yeah,
explain.
Yeah, I don't think I remember hearing too much about this.
Yeah, I don't know the exact thing that happened, but I was working a camera for Kojiko, and I was up in, how like the end where the Queen is, there's stairs and stuff going up to the gondola on the one side.
Yeah.
So I'm up there in that corner working that camera, and I'm just there to get like some shots and stuff. And then everyone starts in our earpieces that we have. They start going on, well, there's all these security guards going up into the section, which was across from me. So it was the section closest to the Queen, but on the Chippewa Street side. And I put my camera over there, and all you see is all these guards going, and there's just this mass of people, and they pull out 2 guys in Battalion jerseys and kick them out of the rink.
Oh wow. Yeah. I don't remember seeing that from, I don't know, on the ice. Sometimes I just I zone out the crowd. It's just
no doubt
on the ice and me. But that's kind of funny that it was 2 of the same kind of team fans.
Well, that's exactly like when it first started. I was like, oh, it's got to be a Guelph and Battalion fan, right? Like it's no way, but no, it was. I don't know what started. I would love to know. I would love to have those guys on the podcast
Well, I
to
can
ask
probably
them.
tell you what had started it. A few of
Oh,
these.
yeah, probably.
Probably a little too many wobbly pops.
Yeah, absolutely. So, that first year though, winning the East, what was that like when the final buzzer goes?
It was incredible. Like we had an okay team. I think we finished 7th or 8th in Brampton. But then when we got up there and the way we were rolling, it was like you knew that we were going to do something. And then we made the acquisitions at the trade deadline there, bringing in, I think it was Tomer,
Yep,
Thompson,
Liberati.
and Liberati.
Yeah,
because we got Cooge and
that was the next year. Yeah,
yeah,
Cooge
but
and
those
Mutri.
guys definitely added not only a form of leadership but a different dynamic to the team as well. Like Thompson was like a physical bulldoze kind of leader for sure, and then Liberati had that little edge to him, but definitely had his skills as well. But it was incredible winning that Eastern Conference title. We banded together and we definitely just wanted to enjoy it as the team and then move on and try to do our best in the next round as well.
In your time in the OHL, do you have any kind of funny story, behind the scenes stories with teammates or anything that you'd be willing to share that might not get you in trouble, or if it does, well, we'll protect you to the best that we can?
Yeah, let me think. Well, there was everybody keeps saying this Smitty Fish story, which is always a good one, because we used to go all the time. It was me, Liberati, Kyle Wood, Paulie would come around, Amma would come around sometimes, Smitty too. But we would always just go out. There was a friend of a billet just down the road from them that let us use his boat. It was awesome. I couldn't say how much I love that city and even not even the fans, even just the community of the city as well. Like Phil McWeeny, how I think Paulie mentioned too, always great with guys in their cars, like helping them out, whatever they needed. And then like the billets, and then even you'd go for breakfast at Burger World, and then out of nowhere somebody'd be like, oh, the way it would come up, and we asked for our bills and be like, no, they were taken care of already. It was just like small things like that. It's always going to be etched in my mind and stuff.
When is the last time you got to appreciate a hockey game as a fan? Like, when's the last time you went and just sat in the stands and watched hockey?
Ooh, I think we were volunteering with Ryerson at MLSE foundations, where they have like kids come in and we play sports with them and stuff. And I think the last time I sat in the fans, it had to be like 2 years ago. They had got us like, even though they got us like tickets, but even though they were up in the rafters, it was just awesome to just sit there. But yeah, I don't really often, I guess, get to do that. Come to think of it.
Have you been back to North Bay to watch a game since you left?
No, it's kind of difficult with all the school and stuff.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
scheduling. You got to like plan it out and get up there, but I will eventually when everything starts to calm down a little bit.
Well, without a season this year, what have you been up to?
Just in the summer, I was golfing a lot. Unfortunately, it didn't help my game as much, but it was fun to be out there. But yeah, my buddy set up a little home gym in his garage, so luckily I've been able to go over there and lift weights and stay in shape a little bit. But other than that, school, video games, just family and stuff. Other than that, not much.
Are you still eligible? Like, are you still in school next year if there's another season?
Yeah, I'll probably go back for another year if the way it seems. But it's now 2 out of my 4 years I haven't had hockey at Ryerson, so it's been tough because I haven't not played hockey for a full year and since probably before I started skating, honestly.
When it's all said and done, is there any maybe thoughts of going back to the pro circuit, whether it's here or European hockey?
I definitely think I'm going to give it another shot for sure. The game has gave so much to me, and I love the game so much too that it'd be a disservice to myself to not give it another shot for sure.
Is there anywhere you're looking to go in particular?
No, not in
does it matter?
particular. Like it just wherever the game ends up taking me, I'll go, even if it's overseas or back to the States. It's not gonna hold me back for sure.
Well, worst case scenario, I'm sure you always have a home in North Bay, so
Yeah, definitely.
I'm sure they'd welcome you back with open arms. Unfortunately, not on the ice. That's
Yeah.
the one thing.
Yeah.
You're a little bit past that age, unfortunately. But I got to say, Matt, we've really appreciated the time today. It's been great catching up with you and finding out what you're up to, and hopefully we can see you up here hopefully next year in a Rams jersey. And yeah, it'd be great to see.
Thanks, guys. I appreciate you guys having me on.
Hey, thank you.
Anytime.
We say thank you again to Matt Santos for coming on and sharing some fun times and just letting us get to know him. It was our first time, both of us, Courtney and I, talking to him. And he's a solid citizen, and hopefully he gets to come back on soon. So for Courtney Kenny, I'm Tom Parisi on the Frontline podcast, produced by our intrepid producer, Ben Sargent. And you can now find us on Apple Music, Spotify, Google Podcast, and you can even watch it all on YouTube. You can see me in my basement. You can see Courtney in his really kick-ass office with his battalion sweaters in the background. And my dog Nora decided to join us this time around. Look. Hi, Nora. She's a bit of a grump. All right. That's where you can find us on any battalion social media too. Stay tuned. We'll have some more special guests as we go around because this was really fun. And we got to do it again sometime.